Hi again, second grade students. In my last lesson, we talked about verb tenses. And I'd like you to go ahead and grab your reference book again, your Shirley Grammar reference section, and I'd like you to turn to page 26. We were on 25, now we are on page 26, all right? Page 26, at the top it says reference 38, regular and irregular verbs. So all verbs can be changed to a past tense, and it depends on how you change it, is if it's a regular or irregular verb. Regular verbs, all you do is either add an ed or sometimes a d or a t to make it past tense. Like in our last lesson, we had walk is the present tense, walk or walks, and then walked would be our past tense. The same with the word rest. Rest or rests is the present tense. Rested is the past tense. However, a few verbs, like the verbs on page 27, just across from where you are right now, we're on page 26, and you have over here, you have a list of what we call irregular verbs. Those verbs are a little more tricky. To make them into past tense, they often change the word. All right, for example, the word fall. The leaves fall from the tree. Fall is clearly our verb. That's our action word in that sentence. However, it's not you probably know already, if you think about it, the word falled is not correct. You wouldn't say, that doesn't sound right, does it? You wouldn't say the leaves falled from the tree. So that the word fall, the action word fall, is an irregular verb. For this one, we don't say falled, we say fell for our past tense, okay? They give the example in there, and it's a great example. The only way that you're going to know how to do irregular verbs is to memorize them. And it will sound natural. It'll be okay. You will hear all your life, you've heard people talk that way. You've heard them say, for the past tense of fall verb, you've heard them say fell. Okay? So the leaves fell from the tree is your past tense. Fell. Okay? So here they have a great example on page still 26. Regular verb as in bake. Grandmother bakes cookies. That's a present tense regular verb. Grandmother baked cookies. That's a past tense regular verb. Grandmother will bake cookies. That's a future tense verb, regular verb. All right, let's talk about the word drink. Okay, drink. We drink milk for breakfast. The word drink is present. That is a present tense verb. But I'm pretty sure you already know that drinked is not correct for past tense on that. Drink is one of those irregular verbs. So instead of drinked, the correct way of saying the past tense drink is drank. We drank milk for breakfast. So that's an irregular verb, and it belongs in the past tense. It was labeled number 2 for past tense. But then for the future tense, we go back to the regular word of drink. We will drink milk for breakfast. Okay? It probably sounds like a lot right now, complicated, but it's actually going to be easier than you think, because this is the way you've heard people talk and you yourself have talked. But all we're doing is identifying, and it's going to make you more and more skilled at grammar. So remember, on the other side here is our list of irregular verbs in the English language. Okay? So they're all in alphabetical order. So in some of your lessons, you are going to need this list. So go ahead, let's go back to our lesson where we had, we're still on page 69. A little while ago on the other lesson, we already did this top practice. Now, we're going to go ahead and do the rest. Well, we'll do this section first. So first, on this side, you'll see the easier verbs, the regular verbs. But I still want you to label it. Remember, number 1 will represent present tense, verbs that are happening right now. Number 2 will represent past tense, verbs that happened in the past. And number 3 will represent future tense, verbs that will happen in the future. Could be a few minutes from now, could be 10 years from now, could be 100 years from now, just sometime in the future. All right, so let's take a look at our first sentence here on the regular verb chart. It says, the crowd will bow to the king. Remember, a lot of regular verbs have will at the beginning. So, or a lot of regular future tense verbs, I should say, have will. So, guess what? We're going to put number 3. That is what they underline, will bow. The crowd will bow to the king. That's a future tense. That's going to happen in the future. Let's read our next sentence. The crowd bowed to the king. You see that ED there? And you can also just tell by the sentence, just by reading it and hearing it. The crowd bowed to the king. That is past tense verb. And number 2 represents past tense. Number 3, the crowd bows to the king. So that is our present tense. That's happening right now. The crowd bows to the king. Also, it could be bow if it were a plural. If it were a plural verb. Okay. Well, I want you to go ahead and fill the rest of these in on your own. But before you do that, let's jump over here to the irregular side. Let's look here at number 9. What does it say? Stephen drove a truck. Well, we know it's an irregular verb, and so it probably is not going to end in ED when it's a past tense. If you're not sure, you can always go ahead and read the other ones first, too, to see what sounds right. Let's go ahead and read number 10. Stephen drives a truck. Stephen drives a truck is a present tense. That's happening right now. Stephen will drive a truck. That's future tense. I'm going to put number 3 for future tense. And now it's even more clear than ever. It probably was clear to you before too. Stephen drove a truck. That must be past tense. However, let's go ahead and take a look at our irregular verb chart. chart on page 27, do I see the word drove on our irregular chart for the word? Okay, there's our present tense drive, past tense drove. And that's just, has driven, is driving,